Stephen, if you don't mind, we'll start with the big story in Scottish football this morning. To know you know Russell Martin well, having played with him at club and country, your just reaction that he's no longer the Rangers manager?
From a personal point of view, it's sad. It's disappointing. I've been there. I understand it, and it's not nice. It's not nice when any manager losing their job. I think the way football is, that's the way it is. But it's results are everything, and that's ultimately what football clubs are led by. But for me, this week, it's obviously we can't let any of that distract from what is a massive week in our campaign.
You know, the demands at that club as well, is that just what we sort of saw come to a head? Because there was a day where this would have been seen as a short time in charge, but maybe now with those demands, there's an inevitability about some of these things.
Yeah, like I said, that's the world we're living in at the moment. I think every manager in their position feels as if they need time, but results dictate everything. As I said, that's it, and you need to make sure you get them quickly while you try and make change. But you see it all over the world now. That is the norm. So yeah, it's football.
You said you've been there. Does the intensity of it, and it does seem to be getting more intense, that put you off management in the future?
For me, no. I think that's one of the things as a manager, or certainly when I was a manager, it's the closest I've ever felt to being a player. And that's where I think that's what ignites the bit inside you. That's what it done, is that feeling you have before games as a player, want to go and make an impact, make a difference, is the thing that does put you into management, because you love it. You're not doing it for... that's the main driver, is because you love it and you feel you can make a difference, definitely. Because all the harder side of the job and how it takes over your life is the less enjoyable part.
Stephen, we will get on to Scotland, I promise, but the toxicity around what we saw yesterday, just in a broader sense, how do you feel about that? We saw sort of hooded fans. Stuart Kettlewell's, when he was at Motherwell City, left because of fans. How worried are you about that side of things?
Again, I think it has become normal. I don't think anybody really likes seeing it. It's uncomfortable to see. But I do think everybody in football has an understanding of it. That we're fortunate in a country that we've got great passion, we've got a fighting spirit. I think there's no clearer evidence than that than the national team getting to the Euros consistently twice. And you don't want to take that away, but I think there's an understanding that it's a job, it's people, it's individuals. That part of it, I think, as I said, it is uncomfortable to see, and you don't want that as much as you want that passion.
Yeah, I think we want the passion we love the passion for Scottish football, all of us in this room, but it can't go beyond a certain line, can it? You don't want people fearing for their safety.
I think in any walk of life you don't want that, and I think that's a part that does make it uncomfortable. But as I said, the passion side of it, that's the thing that it's probably special in this country, and you don't want to lose that as much as you want it to be enjoyable and a good product that we're producing, really.
Thank you.
How excited are you for the prospect of these two big home games coming up this week?
Yeah, really good. I think the dynamic of the structure of the campaign being over 3 months it feels like you were in camp not so long ago, which was great. That camp, I think, serves a brilliant purpose, not only for where everybody's feeling was before it, at the end of the Nations League, but the optimism to be able to get to a World Cup. That's the main goal, it's the main driver. It's probably the thing that makes last month so pleasing, that you get a sense that everybody involved, for the backroom staff, the coaching staff, the players, there's a real desire and hunger to get to a World Cup, no doubt. Last camp was good in terms of results, but on top of that, performances. I think the day you're playing against a really good Denmark team, you have arguably as good a chances to win the game as they do. You compete really well away from home, and then you have a Belarus game, which the dynamic's different. They're going to make it difficult for you, no fans. And I think the Belarus game is the biggest part I've seen, the biggest change in the journey from when I was here as a player to now. There's a calmness, a comfortable feeling about the team. We know it's going to take time, and I think you've seen that, which turns out to be a comfortable night. So this camp, we need to build on that. We want 2 home games. I think the atmosphere on Thursday will be electric. We've got to use that and put on a performance, and that ultimately gets us the result we want.
When it is that sprint to the finish and every game is so important, do you feel you need to win these 2 games?
I don't think it's as clear as that. It goes a long way. If the 4 points in the first camp, if you can back that up with 2 wins, that's the hope. That's what we desperately want. But I think you have got the teams in the group are all sitting going, we can get through this, we can win this. So I think every game there'll be twists and turns in the short campaign that it is, but we're really confident. I think that's shown. We've got good competition. Players in areas that we maybe aren't as full of competition, players are producing, and that's a great place to be.
How do you judge where Greece are at the moment? Because they were obviously looked excellent last time we played them, but then quite a surprise result against Denmark last time out.
Yeah, if you watch the performance though, I don't think you look at the result and you think Denmark have battered them, but the game wasn't like that. The game was tighter. There's especially 2 of Denmark's goals are in real quality from what is a top team. So it probably highlights the fine margins within the group, the squads. The away result against Greece in performance was excellent. We come home in the Nations League and the performance here wasn't good enough. But I think we've got a clear idea of what needs to be better, what we're really good at as a team. And as I said, the confidence is really high going into it.
Steven, just on that, what do you think this team's learned from that game at Hampden in March?
It's the small details in the game. I think even in the game that we played at Hampden, we have good opportunities and good chances, and then maybe positionally and small details in the game cost you big, and it shows you how quick a game can get away from you. I think the squad dynamic here at the moment, I don't think we've been in a better place in terms of players, minutes they're playing, but where they're at. An example is a Hickey coming back from what's been a torrid couple of years and looking like a different animal. You've got John McGinn, Robbo, who are leading it, and they've had real success at club level. So everything around the performance, we're in a great place. And McTominay's another example of last season kicking on and becoming a vital player for Napoli. So yeah, the squad dynamic's stronger, and I'm going back to the confidence aspect. That's clear to see in every session, and even when they're playing at their clubs.
Maybe one place where that isn't as evident is at Goalkeeper. I think it's one club competitive appearance between the 3 of them. Is that a concern for you? Or do you still have the belief that whoever's called upon can perform?
Yeah, it's not ideal, and I think the manager kind of touched on that in his announcement media, that ideally you want. And in my playing career, we never had a moment where our goalie wasn't playing, but you've got to take heart and confidence from, especially Angus last month, had a kind of turbulent through the summer to see where he was going to be, manager changes when you're just in the door, so there was loads, but he performed, and that's when the country's in a position where you're getting to tournaments, you're looking like you can qualify each time you're going into a campaign. The desire for the players is huge, so them doing that individually back at their clubs and doing everything they can to be ready is all that we can do. As I said, you've got to take loads of confidence for last month and the performances that were put in.
Final broadcast. Okay.
Steve, do you sense a real sense of excitement around it? I don't know if it's just because it's a World Cup or whatever. Scotland have qualified for a couple of tournaments recently, but there's something a bit special about this moment. Do you sense that?
Yeah, I do, and I felt it when I came back into camp. I think that combination of the schedule being tight and we know what's going to happen by November, we know where we're going to be, the start we've had, the getting to major tournaments, that is massive, that we've managed to do 2 Euros, we get to the playoffs for the previous World Cup, narrowly miss out on that. but that all builds. It all builds a determination, an anger for not making the last World Cup, getting to tournaments, knowing that you can get there. It all feeds in. It all feeds in on top of the players and the individuals progressing at their clubs. That is that. But definitely the confidence is as high as I've seen.
Okay. If you get to there 10 points out of 12 after 4 games, 2 international camps, you can almost touch at the Americas.
It goes a long way. It goes a long way. But then you've got 2 really tough games next month that you set yourself up to be in a great position for. So yeah, well, first camp we've done a lot of good work. This camp we need to continue that to make sure we're in that position going into November, that we're really confident it's in our hands and we believe we can do it.